Order. I'll turn it over to Bill now to welcome our new member.
Okay, everybody, this is Brian White. Brian has been in business working now for over 5 years. He came to Gullah River from Douglasville, and he and his wife Susie went over here. Their son Devin and daughter-in-law Ashley and 2 granddaughters can be found most of the time over at the hangar or at D&D Flooring. And I have known them since they came here because they have to do they're great additions to downtown, and I am happy to have Brian on the DDA.
All right, we'll move on down to number 3, consideration of minutes. Is everybody taking a chance to look over our minutes from our November meeting? If so, do I have a motion to approve?
I can't make a copy, so I don't have one.
I have 2 copies.
2 copies.
Mr. Chairman, I would say for the record, we need to get Mr. White sworn in.
We've already done it.
Oh, have you?
At least it's already on the ball.
Good.
Jake, no wonder.
If y'all got y'all's mics on down there, Bill.
It's on. It's on.
Brian, is your mic on?
Yep.
Okay.
Oh, there it is.
There it is, okay.
So,
This is Brian.
hey, nice to meet you.
Y'all have an extra agenda?
Do you have an agenda, that stack of agendas?
This,
Is that agenda?
That's like the
That's
whole
a
package.
whole package.
do you need it?
No,
Have you got an extra
I
agenda?
have my own.
I'll look on with.
I'll share.
Here,
No,
I have my own.
Yeah, this one.
All right. She just has to have one.
All right,
Pass it on down, Jerry.
I have some.
we'll go back to number 3. Is everybody taking a chance to look over our minutes from our November meeting? If so, do I have a motion? We'll let some of them look since they didn't.
I move they be adopted as written, Mr. Chairman.
All right, we got a motion to approve. Do we have a second?
I'll second it.
Motion and a second. All in favor? All right, we'll move down to number 4, which is Carl's financial report.
Yeah, there's not much to report on the DDA finances this month. The only thing that we had in December is we made a payment on the roof, the 4th payment on the roof over at the Welcome Center for like $6,743.40, and we paid for the training that I had to go to Saturday, and that was it. And there's $31,838 in the DDA account.
Carl, was that the last payment on the roof?
It was the 4th payment. Was that the last one, Chris?
That should have been the last one, yeah. I'll have to make sure, but
What is the total on the 4 payments?
Oh, you're gonna make me do some math.
Do a little ciphering.
Let's see, we've got and the big one. All right. So it was 48,754 was the first one. I think that's all of them. And then 67, 43, 58, 67, and 60, 69. So roughly 12, 17, roughly $67,000.
67 total.
Yeah, that's a rough estimate in my head.
Okay, well, that's all I'm looking for.
Okay.
76K, okay.
67.
67.
67.
67. Hey, I'm a little dyslexic tonight.
The accountant in me doesn't like these data numbers on it. Everybody can look at me while I'm add this stuff up.
Okay.
67,433.
And that's a total payment and everything been approved, Chris?
Yes, sir.
Inspected and everything, right?
We have our 25-year warranty, so.
All right, we'll move on down to number 5, old business.
Before we move down to old business, I don't know if Carl wanted to make a couple comments about Saturday, but also want to remind all of the DDA members that you're required by law to take that training your first year on the board. So if you haven't taken that yet, they only offer it about three times a year, so we'll need to get you the dates for the other ones.
I think only one of those is in Atlanta, isn't it?
Yeah,
The
they
others
have
are-
one every January, and then the rest of them kind of move. They have one in Savannah in the summer, and then the third one kind of moves around. So we'll get Sharon to email the folks who need to take that class. And, the laws change, so if you haven't taken it in several years, it's definitely good for a refresher as well for some of you all that's been on the board for a little while.
And it's 8 hours on a Saturday. So I went in there dreading it, but it was actually a really good training. I was glad I went. Charlene, you went last time, didn't you?
Last year.
'Cause you took my seat.
You gave me yours.
There was only one seat left, and both of us threw at the same time. Like, you go, I'm going to go home.
Where
But-
was the training? What time?
It was in Atlanta. It was at the Marriott Marquis. It was part of the Mayor's Day conference.
I got you.
Yep. But it was really good training, and there's lots of, the morning was all legal stuff about what we're supposed to be doing, and then the afternoon is all about funding and different things that, ways that we can get money and projects that are going on in other cities, and it's really interesting. There's lots of things I think we can be doing that we're not, that I'll be proposing in the future.
That all we got on that one, Chris?
Yes, sir.
All right, move on down to old business. Welcome Center bids.
Yes, sir. Well, in November, the board approved $3,500 to get a set of construction designs with engineering stamps on them. We did that. We put those out to bid in beginning of this month. The beginning of this month, and what we have before you are the bid responses. I would say it was a little disappointment. We only got one bid for each product or each item. You would hope to get at least 3, so that makes it a little competitive. But we had one for each one of the categories that we requested a bid for, and those prices are what you see there. So we have some opportunities. Obviously, if we see items on here that we think are realistic and reasonable, we can go ahead and award those bids. Or if we think that it'd be beneficial, we could rebid this out and try to get more bids, which is, a common practice. I mean, cities rebid stuff out all the time, so we can do that if we want to, and these people are obviously more than welcome to rebid, but I'll leave that up to the discretion of the authority, how they want to move forward.
What's the square footage of that building?
It's not a very big bill. Let's see.
Like 1,000.
Yeah, I was going to say it's about 1,000. Well, that's including the overhang, so I mean,
That's not the heated and cooled.
that's not heating and cool, no.
I'll say, I don't know much about construction, so I don't know these prices, if they're any good or not. So that's why I would prefer to have more bids than
They
just
seem
one.
very high.
Yeah,
I
I wouldn't be
would-
comfortable just giving it to somebody with only one bid.
Yeah.
Chris, when you actually go out for a bid, as I understand it, you have a website that all the cities go to, or something out there that's
Yep.
in the ether.
So we put the bids on the city's website. We also promote it on social media, so anybody who's on our social media and they share it. But there's also the Georgia Municipal Association has a site that lists bids for the whole state, and so we put it on there as well. So we got a little bit of coverage, but
Do we now have a city building inspector? Do we have one?
well, yeah, we have engineer.
Engineer.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, even an engineer should be able to do that, right?
Do what?
Inspect.
Oh yeah, yeah,
I'm just kidding.
yeah.
I would hope so.
Well, he's been a part of this process, so I mean, he
Okay,
knows.
so I am assuming that these bidders meet certain government standards about insurance and all of the stuff that's there.
Yeah. Well, this is just the bid. I mean, we'll have a contract with them where we'll request more information, and there'll be, just like with the roof, we got bids, and then we actually did a contract with the company. We might want to wait for the train to go by.
Yeah, please.
Great, I think he's about to Cheese Street now. So, so it would be the same process. I mean, they're just submitting bids, and then we would require other information like proof of insurance, all of that, once we get ready to initiate a contract with them.
Is there any reason that we can't get more local businessmen to possibly bid on something like this? Because the only one I see is Southern Ventures, and it's a fairly new local firm as far as I know.
It's very local. He's right
Yeah,
next to the
it's-
Welcome Center.
It is right in it's like the backyard of
Yeah, he's very close.
Yeah, which I like to see that. But now, the electrical seems to be a little out of line to me.
Well, yeah,
Yeah, there's that I was very surprised at the electrical. I didn't think some of the other stuff was as out of line. The electrical I thought was pretty high. Which, you know, even if you decided to keep some of the other stuff, definitely rebidding that out I think is
Yeah.
would be a good recommendation. But obviously the bids are open to anyone. So I mean, local contractors are definitely
If they don't go on the city website, I mean, you know,
they know it's there. Yeah.
it's possible that some local firms really don't do that for whatever reason. You know, maybe they just made a conscious decision not to. Maybe they didn't look at it at the right time or something. Can we encourage others to submit bids
absolutely, yeah.
individually? I mean,
Yeah, I mean, they can go and, you know, and bid on the project, so yeah, absolutely. If you know someone, you said, hey, you need to get the bid specs and.
There's a place
put
at
it-
Temple, Janus Doors and Windows. I think they do roll up doors and
yeah.
They sell direct. I think they're just manufacturers.
manufacture.
Can we advertise it in some of the, like, Chapel Hill News and Views, or you know, we get Tim to do that, you know, and some of the local stuff, because I agree, I think some of the prices are, whew. I mean, I think, yeah, if they knew, I think we could do real good with local peeps.
Is it city policy you have to have just one bid or have more than one bid? Usually.
Well, it's not the city policy doesn't have dictate over this. This is DDA.
Yeah.
So that isn't, but I mean, if you put it out the bid and only have one bid, I mean, you can accept that bid. I mean, that's just, but obviously you want more bids.
Yeah.
Well, based on my experience with remodeling and so forth, it would seem, just on the surface, that lead paint removal and painting could be awarded now. We might not want it painted right this minute, but the contract for lead paint removal, that part of it could.
Well, and I think that part, we would need to do that first, because obviously you're not going to have HVAC, electrical, all that come in until you get all the paint, all that
Right,
chipped paint off.
right.
So I mean, that
Yeah.
would be a logical next thing you'd want to
I
do.
was talking about the painting end of it. You don't want to do your painting until you're through messing around
Yeah.
inside.
Oh, yes, right.
And the same for the concrete flooring.
Mm-hmm.
Unless we're going to bury pipes in the
Right.
building, the concrete flooring can go ahead and be done.
Well, we'll need to do the concrete flooring after the rough-end plumbing, because they'll need to cut up the
Yeah.
floor to do that.
So what does the plumbing include? Does it include that outside bathroom and inside bathroom?
The
What
the
now?
plumbing includes 2 inside bathrooms and just a kitchenette area to be used in conjunction with the meeting space. So just a sink and trash disposal type stuff.
Does that include the fixtures for the bathroom?
That's everything. It's fixtures,
So that's
ADA,
a
and all
done
of that.
job. And then once that's done, then the concrete flooring can go in.
Correct. Well, you do the rough end, then pour the concrete floor, because the floors aren't level. So,
They're not.
well, yeah. Well, they're not, because it's auto repair, so all the floors slope in to where the lift was.
Right.
So what we need to do is do the rough end, level the floors, because we can't even frame in the bathrooms because the floors aren't level. So we'll need to level the floors off. So it's a scheduling thing that will happen between the plumber and the flooring. And we can't do doors and windows because the flooring is going to change once we level the floor.
What I'm doing is trying to find a way to get the thing started
Yeah, we need to kick it off.
while we really reevaluate some of these higher bids.
Sure. I think that certainly the paint removal at this stage, I think, is something that needs to happen. That's the next step. That's what we would do first regardless, because we need to get all the loose paint off, because otherwise it'll just be falling all over the place when everybody else is in there working. And so we can schedule that if we said, hey, this looks realistic, let's schedule that. And then we can put the other stuff back out to rebid while that's happening. So,
I think the concrete flooring is probably reasonable too. Is
Yeah.
that going to be over all of the bays plus the interior of
yeah,
the open
and
estate?
the thing that's good about the concrete flooring, when we talk to this contractor, he is not going to, so the tiles in there have asbestos in them. So instead of us removing the tile, they're going to be encapsulated in 3 inches of concrete. So that way we don't have to worry about taking them up.
Removal.
We can just encapsulate them.
They're going to pour on top of the tile.
Correct.
What depth are
It's going to be 3 inches.
3 inches on top of the tile, and then
Correct.
out in the bay area, it would just be whatever it needs to be.
Yeah, to make it level with, yeah. But again, the flooring part is a middle stage. We'd need to award a plumbing contract and get
Yeah,
the rough
right.
plumbing done
Right.
before we could do that.
But that does include all the fixtures.
Correct. It's the finished product. We wanted them to get, not only that, it also includes, so one of the things that we're looking at doing is recruiting a coffee/pastry shop for the last bay. So that also includes a 3-compartment sink and a grease trap, because that helps us get over the hump of getting somebody in there quickly.
And it will be tied into the sewer. That is part of it.
Correct, yeah.
Okay.
So the plumbing with the grease trap and 3-compartment sink, two ADA accessible bathrooms with all the fixings, and then a kitchenette in essence
Yeah.
for the rental for the meeting room space.
Would that include a hot water heater somewhere?
Two hot water. So that what we're proposing is that in bay be a separate utilities. So when you rent that out, the DDA is not responsible for paying that bill that the tenant is. So it would be separate hot water heater for that in unit, and then one for the welcome center meeting space.
Well, I just got through replacing a hot water heater in one of my buildings, and it was right at $1,000 with labor. That's for just replacing one, not busting up any kind of concrete or anything like that. That's replacing it. Plus, it was going to be replaced with one that basically is just enough to wash hands with. It's not gonna be a laundromat.
Right.
Have you thought about a tankless water heater system?
Well, that we talked about both. There isn't really a lot of difference. There's a little bit of upfront price, but what you're not paying in utilities over time, the life of it, you'll recoup that money back. So
Right.
we did talk about that with the when we did the pre-bid meetings. We talked about options for either a standard or a tankless. And they have electrical units now, so you don't even have to have gas.
Right.
It used to be when they first came out, they were gas units.
Well, I know we all would like to see this project get underway. I know I would, and I think we all would. We've been waiting on it now for 10 years or longer, for something to happen down there.
Well, I've only been here 2.5 years, so but yeah, you know.
But believe me,
The sore-
we've been
the
waiting
eyesore.
a long time.
The eyesore.
And I would like to see us approve the plumbing, the concrete flooring, and the lead paint removal and painting tonight, so that those can get started and rebid the others. And that's a motion.
I've got a motion for Bill to do the plumbing, the concrete flooring, the land paint removal, and painting. Do we have a second on that?
Can I ask a question first?
Yes, sir.
How long would it take if we go through the rebid process? How long do we have to leave it open?
We could have something for the next meeting in February.
So if we rebid it, we could have more bids in the next meeting, you think?
Yeah.
'Cause,
Now-
I mean, we can't do all these at the same time, so I would think get started on the lead paint, because we really can't do any of the other stuff until that's done anyway. And then look at the others at the next meeting to see if we get more bids on them.
So
I'd like to have more than one bid on stuff.
Go ahead, Chris.
well, one of the things I was going to say is some of this stuff are the same company. So the
Yeah.
plumbing and the HVAC are the same. So we could, in theory, pick them and say, hey, we want to negotiate this down some if we let you do the other part. So I don't awarding them one part and then rebidding out the other. I don't know. We could lose synergies while they're already on site.
Well, and that's another question, because Southern Ventures, their bid is just it's $90,000. I mean, you broke it out into different pieces.
Well, we did add-ons so
Yeah.
the concrete work and the paint was an add-on to the original bid. So
Mm-hmm.
But the doors and windows are really separate from the other two, the big.
correct. Yeah.
big-
Well, in that
big
respect,
layout.
yes.
Yeah, I mean,
They-
they separate out the prices on here.
They live right next
Mhm.
door to the building.
They should get a better deal then. They can just walk around the corner.
Yeah,
Don't have any fuel costs.
Yeah, right. I mean, they're already, that's no,
Can we separate that motion out to individual items instead of grouping it together?
You can make any motion you want.
well, we've got one motion.
We got a motion on the floor, right?
So,
Well, who seconded the motion?
And nobody seconded it yet.
Nobody seconded it.
Oh, yeah. And I think it dies from lack of a
I would like a motion then. Do we have a second motion then?
I'd like to make a motion to approve the lead paint removal and the painting through Southern Ventures.
I'll second that.
All right, we got a motion and a second. All in favor? Is that unanimous?
Yes, sir.
Okay, I was just getting it for Tracy. That was a all in favor vote, Tracy. Okay, and then rebid
All the remaining.
all the remaining.
That's fine. Yep, we will put that back up tomorrow.
Okay.
And I would encourage, if you all know folks, villarica.org, go over there to business and the bids are on there. So, yeah, just have them fill out the information.
so that's okay. That's what I'm gonna do. So I'm, know some peeps to call just to,
Oh, yeah.
Mhm.
Oh, yeah.
oh, okay. Yeah, I'll make sure I don't get in trouble for that.
No, you only
As long as-
get in trouble when you be like, "Hey, the low bid was this,"
No,
so
no,
now
no,
you gotta
no.
get under that.
No, I
That's
just
the
wanna make
only
sure-
way you get.
Right, I
in
just want to make sure.
Or if you're getting a piece of what they're getting.
No,
you can-
No,
no.
but
There's
you
some
can
friends are
encourage
recommending
people,
for it,
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there's, I know some plumbers.
You can get in trouble now, so
I
that's good.
know
No,
that,
it's
but
good to
I
ask the
wanna make
question.
I'm asking the question.
Yeah. No, you can encourage people to bid on stuff, yeah.
Finder's fee.
Right.
No, I
I
don't
spent
want
4 hours Saturday of lawyers telling me how we can get in trouble, so there's lots of ways we can.
Right, I
get
want to
in
go to
trouble.
that. I want to go to that
Good.
one. The Savannah one sound good.
Is that all we got on Welcome Center bids?
Yeah, that's it. I think that's, it moves us in a positive.
That'll get us a starting point in getting something done anyway, right? All right. Moving on down to number 6, new business. Is this yours, Kimberly?
That's fine. Ribbon cutting. I just want to ask the board, how you all feel about us being notified when there's going to be a ribbon cutting, or possibly like the grand opening that took place at this home decor place over on Main Street. I would love to know when things like that are going to happen. Even if some of us can't make it to the ribbon cutting, we would at least know that it happened, and we could drop by at a later date and say, hey, welcome, or even give them a call and say, hey, I'm with the DDA and we are sure glad that you're here. Just anything. I think face-to-face is the best way, but I really wish we could get added to an email list. That the whole board just be added to a list of people that you just automatically invite when something like that is going to happen, whether it be the ribbon cutting or a grand opening or something. I can't think of anything else, but other things where our presence, be a good idea to show up or acknowledge it in some kind of way.
We used to have the entire board encouraged to do that. It was, part of a written, not a job description per se, but something that we were encouraged to do so every time a new business came into town for us to go by individually, welcome them. We haven't been doing that very well lately.
Sure.
Some of these
Did everybody get the notice about the Thomas Dorsey board meeting?
I did.
Yep. That's the same. So when our office is coordinating something, you all get an invite to that. Now, we're not the only ones in the county that does ribbon cuttings. The chamber does ribbon
yeah,
cuttings.
yeah.
And sometimes they don't even notify us. So I think let's not confuse what Main Street Downtown Development does as a function and what the chamber is doing, because we may not get invited to stuff. So you may not get an invite from us. So just be mindful of that we're not the only ones in the city or county doing economic development, grand openings, ribbon cuttings. There are other entities. Now, when stuff is coordinated through us, because we do ribbon cuttings, when people come to us directly, and then you all get an invite, just like you got an invite to the Thomas Dorsey thing. So anything that we do, you all should get an invitation from us directly. And when we find out that the chamber is doing stuff, we will forward that to you all. So
That would be really nice.
What was the business that you said?
What is it called? Market something. And the Larges own the building. It's down there, the very last space before you get to that tire place.
where Two Shirts used to be.
Okay.
Yeah, the last one on that strip, before you get to Liberty National and all that. She just opened up, didn't she?
When I went by Saturday, I saw a lot of people out there. It's a grand opening.
What kind of business is it?
Home furnishings,
It's like a lot of
furniture.
the, the farmhouse decor look.
Really?
I think she may even have a little bit of boutique kind of stuff in there, like women's clothing
Yeah.
possibly. I don't know.
Yeah, that's what we heard. Yeah, that's,
One's a boutique and then one does carry a little bit of like a farmhouse boutique kind of stuff.
Okay.
yeah.
So I'd love to go by and welcome her. And
Certainly nothing stops any of us from doing that,
Absolutely.
Kimberly. Yeah. We just need to be motivated individually to go do it.
yeah, so if you hear of grand openings or whatever, let us
We will.
know.
You'll get an email from either Janet or Sharon.
I touched base with Amy Brown, it's been a month ago now, for the place next to Teddy Williamson Insurance Office, that vinyl place that's opened up. And she said she's gonna handle that through the Chamber of Commerce, so.
Yeah. Well, Amy usually encourages them to do the chamber because she's the chamber president.
Yeah.
So But sometimes Amy doesn't come to us and be like, "Hey, we're gonna do a ribbon cutting." We just, I mean, we'll either find it on because they send us an email blast. It was like, "Oh, they're doing a ribbon cutting in Villa Rica." So,
You know, it seems like a downtown business would invite both if they are a chamber member.
If they know of it.
Plus, you just automatically invite Main Street to be a part of it, even if the chamber kind of headed it up, whoever you want to head it up, but to invite both.
Both of them, yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of times they don't know. When I opened my business, I was contacted by the chamber, and I just said, "Oh, great, ribbon cutting, yeah, let's do it." And that was, and actually, I think you did the ribbon cutting. I think it was through when you were with Main Street. But you know, a lot of times businesses just don't know who's doing the ribbon cutting. They just know that they're getting the ribbon cutting. So
When we opened, we declined the ribbon cutting because we just want to get busy and making money. But the one thing that has really kept us here, and it was that how many people of the city that worked here and everything else that really just came by and encouraged us and shook our hand, said hey and thanks and that kind of stuff. That's made a huge difference for me and Susie and us wanting to stay downtown and be a part of it. It's work, but it's still just from the time that we've been here to now, huge changes. Love it. And I'd love to see more. I mean, just personally, me and Susie make it a point to go. We go to a lot of the old downtowns wherever we go. That's a point that we make, and we go into all the stores. We can go in, we walk the places and ride our bikes too. So we really enjoy that, and we pick up so many tips of what's working and what ain't, and in some of the other places, and it's really cool to do it. I mean, we love it. We love it. So that made a difference for our businesses, and it still does now. So just to participate.
We'll move on now. I think you got the next one, right, Kimberly?
Yeah, is the website called downtownvillarica.com? Okay. Well, I was on there the other day. Can't remember what I was looking for, but I went over to the Downtown Development Authority page, and there was the title on there, the DDA, but there was no text, no photos, nothing. It was just a blank page. And I would just like to ask if possibly, even if it's a repeat of what's on villarica.org, if we could just possibly have that, populate that same information onto the downtownvillarica.com page, because we do have a page on that website. And I don't know, I mean, maybe even if we're just looking for things to put on there, we all have a picture of ourselves, whether it's candid or, Charlene, I've seen yours, it's gorgeous. Even a candid shot, it doesn't matter. But, have our picture on there. I don't know, you could do a bio or just your picture with your name. It doesn't matter. But something on that page, because right now
It's
it
just blank.
leads to nothing.
Chris, my memory is not all that good, but don't we have somebody from Hazelhurst, Georgia, on a retainer to do some programming or
graphic design.
graphic design? Would that come under that?
No, the website is not.
It's totally different.
Graphic design is the work that's related to the advertising that we do. So we do print advertising, the magazines, we do promotional event type flyers, that type stuff. That's what that covers.
So we don't
But
have
we'll get the information on the website. I don't know about the headshots and all that. At the end of the day, I'm the one that manages the website. We just built that website, so that's why there's.
You can find a couple of pictures down at the post office.
Well, yeah, I probably could find some at the post office. I'll just steal them from Jerry's
There you
Facebook
go.
page because he has tons on his Facebook page.
There you go, on my Facebook page, right?
Jerry probably didn't even know how to get to the website.
I don't.
But yeah, we'll put that on there. That's fine. That's not a problem.
All right, we'll move on down to number 7, public comment. Anybody got anything they want to say? Ms. Shirley? right, move on down to number 8, items for future agenda. All right, moving on down to number 9, executive session, and we don't have nothing there. Miss Stacy called me today, and I told her I didn't see anything with Nita, right, Chris?
Nah, we're pretty good.
I told her if we need her, we'd call her, right? Save that, what, $60?
Save that money.
$60 an hour. All right, we move on down to number 10. Do we have a motion to adjourn this meeting?
So moved.
At 6:50, Tracy will call this part of the meeting adjourned. Do I have a second?
Second.
Motion and a second. All in favor? All in favor. All right, we'll move on to the Convention and Visitors Bureau meeting. We'll call this meeting to order at 6:51. We don't have any minutes for that one, Chris.
They were in the email.
They were in the email. Okay, well, I got it then.
Here's a couple right here. Y'all want to take one and
Somewhere. Just have to find it. There we go. I have it.
Got the agenda. I don't have the minutes. Bill, did you get the minutes on that one?
Apparently, I was the only one that said anything during the last meeting. There's the financial report and then nothing.
yeah, it was a short meeting.
Mm-hmm. I'll make a motion to approve the minutes for the Convention and Visitors Bureau meeting.
Okay, do I have a second on the minutes?
A second.
All right, motion and a second. All in favor? Everybody in favor? Okay, moving on down to number 3, financial report.
Okay.
Yours, Mr. Carl?
That is mine. And again, I don't have anything to give you just because it's tax season and I threw this together at the last minute before coming over here. But the account currently has about 15,000 in it. But the big thing was the last time we had talked about how the tax collections didn't look like they were as much as they should have been with the tax increase that was supposed to be implemented. And it looks like they did implement it in December because we went from collecting 6,100 in October to 6,600 in November to 10,536 for December. So the tax collections went up $4,000 from November to December. And I don't think that we just had an influx of tourists in December. It's because we got that increase we were supposed to have. But when was that increase supposed to go into effect?
In August.
So are we going to look at what happened to those other months?
I think the city's looking into that, aren't
Are
they?
they?
Mhm. Well, I think it's a couple of things. One, I think you're probably 30 to 60 days behind anyways with the collection. And then I think when the hotels realized that we were hiring a company to do a hotel motel audit, I think miraculously their bookkeeping probably got better. And so I'm
The
sure.
tax collections just all around.
Right. So I think we'll probably see some healthy returns here moving forward. I don't know how the company, so what will happen with the company is the company will actually collect the hotel motel tax and then they will disperse to the city. So I don't know.
You know about the company doing the audit, so if they
Yeah.
find a deficiency, they'll collect
Yeah.
it. Okay.
So I don't know how that's going to delay us getting, but I think we should still get something monthly like we normally do.
Does that include the long-term stay motels that were lagging in this?
They were going to look into that too, weren't
Yeah. They have a definition of what an hotel is and who should and should not be paying taxes.
But they don't meet that definition, I guess.
Meet the definition of what?
Not being a motel or
Yeah, they are considered a hotel. Yeah.
Okay.
But there is a time frame. I think it's like 30 days. After 30 days, if somebody's there for 30 days, then I think the tax that they pay either reduces or comes off. I can't remember.
Okay, we'll move on down to number 4, old business. Any new business?
Yes, sir. I got one item that I forgot to email to you all. At the Tallapoosa, some of these are duplicates. So at the Tallapoosa Welcome Center, we have a door display, for the lack of a better term, that we've had for several years now. And of course, as you all know, we've updated our imaging and branding for the CVB. And so what we did was got our graphic designer to redesign that door for us with the new graphics. And we asked Signworks Pro to give us a quote for printing and installation of that. It's a two-sided door, and so the proposal that I gave to you is their price for the installation of that, the printing and installation of that. I will say we are currently looking at leasing space at the Ringgold Visitor Center on 75. Thank you. And at the Columbus Visitor Center in Columbus, Georgia. And we're looking to see what, if any, space they have at the Hartsfield Welcome Center.
Are we leasing space at the Tallapoosa one?
That's correct, yeah.
Do you know how, top of the head, how much the lease is on that?
I think it's like $1,200 a year.
And the door, this would be extra then?
Yeah, so we're changing that out
Yeah.
to the new design with the new logos and all of that. So yeah, but this is just a one-time deal here to change that out.
This would stay then?
Yep, yes, that was.
Yes.
So we're bringing this to you all because this is above our spending limit without getting board approval.
So we need a motion to approve this 2972 then, is that right?
Yes, sir.
Now, I'm sorry, I didn't really understand exactly what you were saying. We're going to put this display at all three?
Well, we're looking at doing that. We'll bring that back to you all once we get pricing for those.
Okay, but this is in place now at Tallapoosa.
That's in Tallapoosa now, yes.
And
This one,
and the fee was
I've seen.
$3,000 for
To
Tallapoosa.
change it out, yes, because it's the
Right.
type of material that they use, because it's at the entrance of the door. So when you walk into the center, those are there. So
Yeah, I've
there's
seen
like UV protection, and it's two-sided. So it's what you see on one side is also printed and installed on the other side as well.
Okay.
How long has that been the one that we have now?
That was when we took over tourism. That had already been up, and I think it's been maybe 5-6 years, maybe something like that, if not longer.
So it's time to change it.
Yeah.
Well, you know, we've
Well,
changed
we
our logo
rebranded
and everything,
since
so
We have
yeah.
added a motel too.
And we've added a motel. That's correct.
So this is to install it at Tallapoosa.
Correct. Yeah.
Okay.
We've added a much nicer.
We anticipate that it'll be similar. The Ringgold is not around the door. It's just a center glass piece, and it's not as big, so it should be cheaper there. And it's one-sided at Ringgold, I think. And then we're researching in Columbus to see what they have. Well, basically, what we're trying to do from a tourism standpoint is to get a geographical area around Villa Rica that we can start branding. I have something much grander in mind that I want to do, that I'm working on to bring back, but that includes some props and stuff. So my thought process is to do what I'd like to do at the Ringgold Center, because they have wall spaces. Basically put a replica of the train in there and a postcard background so people could go and take pictures there of Villa Rica at that center. And you can, because people put that on Facebook and Instagram and stuff, and that will just multiply our marketing effort. So I'm looking at that to see. I don't sleep very much at night, so I come up with all this stuff.
So do we have a motion for that at the Tallapoosa Welcome Center?
So move.
Got a motion, do we have a second?
I'll second.
Motion and second, all in favor? Unanimous, Ms. Tracy. All right. Down to number 6. Is that all you had on that, Chris?
Yes, sir, that's all I have.
All right, but number 6, public comment. Items for future agenda. Executive session, moving on right along. Number 9, do we have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
At exactly 7 o'clock, we have a motion to adjourn. Do we have a second?
Second.
All right, second, all in favor? Good